Hey, what's up guys, OSJ here with another C64 software video, and this time it's Imagine. When I recently did my Ocean Games video, I had a lot of comments saying I missed games like Green Beret and Yie Ar Kung Fu. Well, I never missed them. I just decided that it wasn't right to include Imagine games in the list, and this was for a couple of reasons. Imagine has one of the most iconic logos on the system, and if I included those games, some that deserve to get a mention maybe wouldn't have. The software house was formed in Liverpool in the early 80s, and they predominantly made games for the ZX Spectrum and Vic 20. They stood out from other British software houses of the time with their polished high-budget approaches to advertising that wasn't really present in other British software houses. Although this approach initially slingshotted them into 8-bit limelight, it was ultimately the cause of their demise, and in 1983 it was reported that a 50k advertising bill had not been paid. The following year, Imagine closed its doors due to mounting debts, and the name was bought by Ocean. Under Ocean, they went on to produce some great games for the C64, and that's what we will be looking at today. They released 79 games on the C64, and I've trimmed it down to what I would say is the best 20 of them all, although some still aren't great to be honest. So let's start with Army Moves in 20th position. This is a nice little platform shooter that's kind of like Moon Patrol. The game is really addictive, but the difficulty ramps up to insanity in no time, which ultimately killed the game for me. Nineteenth place is taken by Rastan. Now this is one that makes the list mostly for its SID tune. It's not the best 8-bit version of the arcade classic, but it is playable and the SID music really carries the game. I think that this game really could have benefited from having some background instead of just black. In 18th place is Jackal. This is a US version, and it's a mediocre conversion of a great arcade game. The controls and gameplay are annoying, and the graphics look a bit too much shoot 'em up construction kit for me. Vindicator takes 17th position, another game that is carried by the great SID music, and this time it's Jonathan Dunn. The graphics look nice, but the maze sections are horrendous to navigate, and any fight sections will take what little life you have and leave you on the verge of death. Bit of a shame really, as I think this game could have been great. 16th place is taken by BC Bill. This is maybe the most basic looking game on the list, but it's also one of the best as far as gameplay goes. I'm not sure in this new PC world that Bill would get away with clubbing women on the head and dragging them off to his cave. Anyway, the game is amusing and addictive and definitely worth a play. In 15th place is Renegade. This is a great little beat 'em up for the C64. The gameplay, while control wise is a bit tricky, is okay, and when you think of how bad the C64 Double Dragon was, this game was by far better than that monstrosity. Dragon Ninja takes 14th position, and this is one I bought as I loved the arcade. Whilst not being as good as that version, it's still playable, although the hit detection kills it a bit for me. But as a kid who was obsessed with ninjas, this passed a bit of time for me, and the cover art was great on this game, as we would expect from Imagine. 13th place is taken by World Series Baseball. Proper basic game that does what it needs to be entertaining. As you can see, this wins no awards for looks, but the gameplay is there and is an enjoyable game to play. One of the ones I spent most time on while making this video. In 12th place is Typhoon. This is a game I never played back in the day, which is weird as I love shoot 'em ups, and this is a shoot 'em up with a difference as it changes perspective from behind to top down, and it does it well. It's mega hard though I found, but it's one that I will revisit. Mikie takes 11th position. This game was massive back in the day on the 8-bits. It features a Martin Galway soundtrack that is great and suits the frantic style of the game perfectly. Whilst this isn't one of the best C64 games ever, it's one that most people, including me, have fond memories of. Tenth place is taken by Ping Pong. Table tennis games rarely live up to the enjoyment of playing the real thing, but I think they did a great job here. Obviously it's the same gameplay from start to finish, but if you want a game to pass a bit time, then it's a good game to play. In 9th place is Target Renegade, one of the most memorable soundtracks on the C64 and also one of the best loading screens. The game, while looking nice, never lived up to the Spectrum version, which is the definitive 8-bit version. For me, the controls kills it a bit as you get stuck with no weapon and ultimately get destroyed from both sides. Yie Ar Kung Fu takes 8th place. I was never a fan of beat 'em ups using the one button control system, but the control system of Yie Ar Kung Fu works perfectly on the C64 as it's all directional based moves. The difficulty is hard while not being impossible, and overall it is a good conversion of the popular arcade game. Seventh place is taken by Slap Fight, and this one for me is where the list gets great. This is an excellent arcade conversion of a brilliant top-down shoot 'em up. The music I actually like more than the arcade version, and the gameplay is almost as good as the arcade too. They did a great job here. In 6th place is Green Beret, mega hard version of a mega hard arcade game here. I have completed this a few times, but it's not one for the casual gamer, with random spawn enemies making it less of a memory game and more of a reflexes game. The gameplay is relentless and the music fits it perfectly. Terra Cresta takes 5th position, another iconic top-down arcade shoot-em-up conversion here, and one that just beats Slap Fight, and this is mostly down to the weapon upgrade system. It's another hard game though, but really, C64 top-down shooters don't get much better than this. 4th place is taken by Arkanoid. This was featured in my video on the best C64 arcade ports, and what a port it was. It's the original block break game that we all loved in the arcade on our home systems. The ball trajectory is perfect and the graphics and gameplay are super slick and fast. In 3rd place is Arkanoid Revenge of Doe. This I found as good as the original, but with more levels and power-ups. Some people find this inferior to the first game, but for me the extra stuff just gives it that slight edge. Second place is taken by Salamander, one of the best side-scrolling arcade conversions on the system. Great graphics, awesome music and some of the best gameplay and controls out of any shooter on the C64. The difficulty level is just right for me, but for some more casual gamers, they may struggle with it. And now, in 1st place is Hypersports. This game features sports from swimming to skeet shooting and is one of the most playable sports games on the C64. It's right up there with the epic classics of summer, winter and world games. My favourite event is skeet shooting, which is so fast, and as with most sports games, this is definitely better in multiplayer. Okay, that's it for me. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite Imagine games were, and if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like my stuff. Until next time, this is OSG, signing out.